Hi everyone, Priya here and you all are welcome on my channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a tutorial for making a vintage baby themed tag. So I have this recycled cereal box tag and I have already prepared it, and I'm going to prepare the background using vintage sheet music now. So I'm gluing vintage sheet music on this tag using PVA glue. Once that is done, I will trim off all the excess paper. So this basic background of the tag is ready, and now I am distressing the edges of this tag using vintage photo ink by Tim Holtz. So I'm just lightly distressing this tags just so as to define the edges. Then I'm going to use an image from this vintage baby book that I have got. This book has some very nice pretty images, and most of these images are gender neutral, which I prefer. So I decided to fussy cut one of the images from here, and once it is fussy cut, I want to paste this image on the tag. So this is the image. It's quite pretty and I want to paste it here, but then I thought that this image needs some dimension, so I decided to paste it on top of recycled cardboard. That will just give it a raised look and give it some dimensions to the tag. So again I'm pasting it on a cardboard and then again fussy cutting. I should have thought about this thing before. The image is finally ready now. It is stuck on top of a cardboard and fussy cut, and I can feel that it's looking much better now. For the next step, I decided to punch some holes all around this image. I'm not really measuring it, but I'm just doing it approximately. I'm punching these holes at an approximate equal distance, but I'm not really measuring it, and it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be very, very precise. Then I took these fabrics. One is in yellow, in gingham print, and the other one is in soft green. And these two fabrics are coordinating quite well with each other, and these two fabrics are coordinating extremely well with the tag also. I cut two strips from these two fabrics together, quite long strips, and then I took them together and I started to weave these two fabrics. So they are together the whole time, and I'm weaving it around these holes that I have just punched. So you can see I am going in from one hole and out from back of it, and then going in from the front and then out from the back, and that way I will do this thing throughout the image. And I'm sorry I'm going off camera a lot of times. I didn't realize it while filming, but you can see it. I hope it is easy to understand what I'm doing here. It's just like basic weaving of this fabric all around these holes. And because these holes are not very very thin, they are a bit bigger, so it's not very difficult for me to go through them. Weaving of this fabric throughout the image till I reach the last one, and then I have a lot of fabric that is still left. So I purposely took much longer fabric than needed than the overall circumference of this image. And then whatever is left, I tied it in a ruffle. And this is purposely done. First of all, it gives a nice ruffle and a soft shabby chic look to the image. And it also acts as a tie of the tag. So this weaving of the fabric also helped in defining the image. So it kind of defined the edges of the image, and it seems like the image is in, it's like a frame of the image. And it gives a nice focal point as well. So once that is done, this whole thing is going on to the tag. I'm using generous amount of PVA glue here, and I'm pasting this image on the tag. It's done. I'm just pressing it nicely so that it is stuck to the tag well. After that, I am searching for something nice words from the same book, and I just want to have this thing next to the tag. So I am cutting it, not using a scissor, just kind of fussy cutting it. And once that is done, I will ink the edges using Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo. Now I want to have this image on this tag, but for that I need to create some background for this image because this paper is too thin. So I decided to make like a mat for this image. For that I took a scrap cardboard paper from the cereal box, and then I decided to use the green fabric that I had, the same fabric that I had used to create the ruffle around the image. So I took this green fabric, a bit of it, and using PVA glue I stuck this fabric on this cardboard, and it really stuck well. And because there is still some glue showing through, but that's fine, this glue will dry up clear, it's not really an issue. If the fabric is cotton or linen, these kind of fabrics, they glue very well to cardboards. And once that is done, I will trim off all the excess of this fabric from the cardboard. After that, I'm going to distress the edges of this cardboard using Vintage Photo Distress ink. I think it is giving me a nice vintagey kind of background, and I'm pleased with how it looks. I was a bit skeptic about how this fabric will look on the cardboard, but it is looking quite well. So then I am going to stick the words that I cut from, that I have already prepared from the book, and that is going on top of this cardboard. So I have this thing to go on the tag. Now before that, I decided to just give it a little bit of dimension. So I decided to have a bit of cotton twine, and I'm wrapping this cotton twine around this little uh, embellishment a few times, and then I will just tie it in the front. That is done, and now this whole thing needs to go on the tag. Now because my tag is this image is a bit raised, so this tag also needs to be a bit raised. So I'm just putting a few pieces of cardboard from cereal box under this. You can also use foam tape. I don't have it, and I really prefer using cardboard, recycled cardboard here, because it works as good. So I'm just creating 2-3 layers of this cardboard under it, just to so as to this whole thing uh, gets a bit of dimension. It doesn't stick directly to the tag. Glue all the time, and this needs to be pressed a bit so that it doesn't come off. And I think it needs some more embellishment. So I'm taking this paper flower. These paper flowers are by Little Birdie. So these paper flowers are a bit white, so I decided to distress them little bit. So I'm using distressed ink in Shabby Shutters by Tim Holtz, and I'm slightly distressing these flowers using a sponge. I just use makeup sponge for this. So I'm just, and this green color kind of matches with the overall look of the frame, so I thought it's a good idea to not to leave these flowers stark white. So that's why I distressed it. And once that is done, I'm going to paste these flowers on my tag. Again, using PVA glue, I'm sticking it on the tag. I'm just pressing it nicely so that it stays firmly there, and that is how this tag looks overall. And I don't think so it needs more work now. I've realized that I had forgotten to paste the tea dyed paper on the back side of the tag to give some writing space. So again, using PVA glue, I am pasting tea dyed paper, and then I will cut off excess of it. I will trim it off. In fact, I should have done it in the beginning, because now with all the embellishments that are hanging out of the tag, it will become quite difficult for me to trim off all the excess of this paper. So if you are doing something like this, make sure that you paste your tea dyed paper the first thing when you start making that tag, because in the end it becomes a bit difficult. I should stop now. This tag looks quite done, and that is how it finally looks. I am not going to overwork on it. Off camera, I made two more similar tags, and one is this one. It also has a very nice image, and then I have a third one on the similar theme, and I'm quite happy with how they have turned up. So guys, this was today's video, and let me know what you think of this video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, write me a comment, and I will see you soon. Bye.